Mr. Drolet, we're heading up to the second floor, and this is really the heart of what once was City Hall of Cité Maisonneuve.
Yes, that's right. This was where the council chamber was located. And so after you walked up the grand stair that you've just seen, we were able to attend the affairs of the city right here. This building was both quite elegant from the inside, but as you have seen also on the outside. And that was part of the idea of really creating a civic place that was visible for the residents.
So tell me, when we walk into this space, I mean, it's so beautiful, the ceilings, the stained glass. Was all of this here and obvious before, or were there surprises for you as you recreated or restored its beauty?
Some of it was very visible, the stair, the stained glass window, the skylight, but other parts were hidden, like some of the original tiles you can see here that we discovered as we removed some of the later finishes that were placed to change into a library in the 1980s. Some of the mosaic that is downstairs also was covered up and needed to be restored. So there was quite a bit of work to make sure that what was left there was still usable and visible and be part of the continued history of the place. And some of the suspended ceilings we were able to remove to reveal the old plaster coffered ceilings as well. It was important for us to reopen it so that this whole sequence of walking, in the great hall downstairs, up the stair into the space was a kind of continuum of elegance as it used to be. They still have their old library, but it's more opened up to the neighborhood. And I think as you walk around, you'll see that the views are open, so you feel like you're part of the neighborhood as well as in this kind of a bit of a nest of a place that the library is.
So this is the whole new section.
That's right.
And then you turn around and in its grandeur, the old Beaux-Arts style of what once was City Hall and now, of course, the library. How did you decide, okay, this is what I want to do? I want to give people who might be in the new section a view onto the old.
It all came out of the very initial idea of making sure that the old building was the star of this new building, in effect. When you were outside, you could still see very clearly the main facade as the kind of identity of the library, but also that you could understand that it was it's not just a facade, it's a three-dimensional building. So in the lane on the outside, you see the back facade, and when you're inside the building, you see both lateral facades. And the idea of having a very transparent new addition on either side was done purposefully so that at night, when this is lit up, you can see the side facades from the outside. So you always understand this old building is still there, within its enlarged wings.
You're an architect, but you're also a historian.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about the history of this building.
Well, what's fascinating about this building, not only on its own, it's that it's part of a bigger picture of what the creators, the founders of the Cité de Maisonneuve wanted to do. And it's quite unique, not only in Quebec, but I think in North America, where the idea was to create an industrial city, but that was not just based on industry, also created a kind of an elegant life for the residents. There was a movement at the end of the 19th century called the City Beautiful, which was really inspired by France, but really elaborated in the States. It was a bit of a North American Renaissance kind of movement. And the founders of the city wanted to do a smaller version of that in their own new town to keep that feeling of the good life in this new town.
This is the original map of Maisonneuve City. And can you show me where City Hall, City Hall, where the Maisonneuve Library is now?
So the City Hall was right here. But what's really fascinating about this is that it really explains the whole idea of the City Beautiful and Cité de Maisonneuve with this series of grand public buildings, the City Hall, the public bath, the market. There was a post office plan that was never built right here. And then this Grand Morgan Avenue boulevard that's very monumental on access with the market.
But it's in a working class community, right? And so ultimately they spent too much money for it.
Yes, yes. So the City Hall opened in 1912, but the city folded 6 years later in 1918 when it couldn't meet really its accounting because of all this expenditure. It had to be merged into the City of Montreal. So the City Hall was only used for about 6 years here.
And when you're here, you're visiting, you're seeing kids over in the play area or on computers, and then silent section upstairs. It's a building that the community has embraced. How do you feel about that when you see it?
It's the best thing that can happen to an architect, I have to say. That's the real reward, of doing something that's not only useful, safe, of course, but also enjoyed by my co-residents of the City of Montreal. I mean, that's the best that can happen, really.